We're not in Illinois anymore, or are we? I'm WEIU's Lacey Spence, and today we're taking our show on the road to Garden of the Gods. We'll share why you should take a hike coming up.
Take a Hike on WEIU is supported by Rural King, America's farm and home store, camping supplies, kayaks, fishing and pet supplies, and more. Find your store and more information regarding Rural King at ruralking.com.
Hi, I'm WEIU's Lacey Spence. I've lived in Central Illinois my whole life, and if there's one thing I've learned, you don't have to go too far to find the beauty of the great outdoors. Come along with me as I visit a variety of parks and natural areas across Illinois, and share why you should take a hike to each episode's location. Adventure and fun await in Take a Hike, the mini-series. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Take a Hike. I'm your host, Lacey Spence, and today we are a little bit further from the WEIU studios than normal. We have made it to Southern Illinois to Garden of the Gods. So today we are talking with our fabulous new friend, Sue. Welcome to our show, Take a Hike.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Can you please introduce yourself, your title, and what you do here?
Okay, I'm Suzanne Hirsch. I work in public affairs on the Shawnee National Forest. I've worked for the forest for quite some time, since I was just starting out with the Forest Service, so I know a bit about this area.
Yeah. How did you get started with the Forest Service, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I went to forestry school nearby and worked summers for the Forest Service, and there was an opportunity to apply as I was still a student and do like an internship. And when I was done and graduated, they offered me a full-time job, so I took it, and I've been loving the Forest Service ever since.
Well, wonderful. So are you from this area, or is this new to you?
No,
Not
actually,
new to you, but...
yeah. No, actually, I'm what they call an implant, I guess. I am from a suburb of Chicago, and like I said, I didn't have an interest in working in the city, so I wanted to find an occupation outdoors, and I did.
I was going to say, you kind of hit the jackpot with this.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So the Shawnee National Forest, pretty darn expanse. Just in general, do you have an idea of how it began, how it came to be?
Yeah, so it's been around. We've been a national forest for about 80 years.
Okay.
It was set aside in like 1938, 1939, but well before that, the land in this region was farmed heavily, and a lot of it was eroded. And so people wanted to get it restored, and also saw the beauty of the site of the area, and to preserve that and set that aside. So there were efforts put a lot of local folks and others to make it a national forest.
Well, wonderful. So we're just kind of getting a snippet, a snapshot of the entire the entire park today. So right now we are on the Garden of the Gods observation trail.
Correct, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this area and maybe kind of what's over our shoulder?
Okay, yeah. So Garden of the Gods is one of the most photographed sites in the state of Illinois. And what we have here on the observation trail is a nice short hike. It's a quarter mile. It takes about 20 minutes to walk. If you stop and enjoy the sights, it takes up to an hour. But it's a hard surface trail, so it's all year round. And what we're looking at is the famous Garden of the Gods Camel Rock Formation, which is actually appears on the quarter in 2016. So we're pretty proud of Camel Rock. And there's other sandstone formations as you go around on the trail, and some of the other trails in the area. What we're actually viewing beyond the rock formations here is a 3,300 acre wilderness, Garden of the Gods wilderness. It was set aside in 1991. Mm-hmm. It's part of our wilderness designation, our wilderness system. So there's 7 wildernesses on the forest, and this is just one of them. So you can imagine what this looks like in the fall when the trees change. And, it's just a great site to visit all year round, any time of year. We've got one that I like to call, it's called the Prophet. It looks like a man's profile. And there's the one right behind you is called Table Rock. So there's just, that's kind of what they look like. People found them and thought they were, they just come up with names for them. It's a fairly soft rock. It's called sandstone. And this site actually was at the edge of an inland sea. And so over time, the rock formed from all of the sand that deposited along the seashore 300 million years ago.
Wow.
And as it deposited the sand and the mud, it compacted and made rock. Eventually, the sea receded and erosion started, wind and water mostly in this area, and that's how we got the you see the sand formation, the rock formations today.
Yeah, well, and as we're, we had to take a couple-hour drive just to get down here. The scenery from central Illinois down to southern Illinois, you do not expect to, kind of come around the highway and see anything like this.
Right, yeah. Even from the office as we left this morning, it started to become more of a country and green landscape and winding roads. So it becomes much more scenic as you leave the central part of the state.
And so Shawnee is pretty darn expanse. Besides Garden of the Gods, are there any other highlights of Shawnee National Forest that are worth mentioning while we're down here?
Well, yeah, I mean, the forest is about just under 290,000 acres. Okay. It's a small forest considering other national forests in the eastern region, but as you know, it's a lot of land just for Illinois, to be under public ownership. So there is basically any activity someone would want to do, they could come and do it here on the Shawnee National Forest. We have over 400 miles of trails. Most of them are dirt and they're hiker equestrian trails. We just designated a mountain biking trail system near Lake Glendale last year. So we're hoping to expand and have more mountain biking experiences.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's several other sites, some of them are developed like this one where there's a parking lot and a toilet and there's somewhere that, it's close to a town. Others are like where you could backpack into a non-motorized area like the one I talked about behind us.
Well, it's nice that there's hiking, biking, and you said equestrian, but this trail in particular is non-equestrian, correct?
Right.
Okay.
This is, for obvious reasons, it's hiker only. And we have a few of those. Rimrock is another one that's nearby. We hope you have time today to visit Rimrock.
Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about that later in the episode.
Right. So that's another paved trail, loop trail, easy to find. You won't get lost. You park, take the loop walk, and get back to your vehicle. So.
Well, wonderful. So as we're talking about just the expanse of this area, is there a good place to learn about these places along the way, or is it research I need to do before I get to the park? Are there handouts anywhere? Can you talk about that?
That's a good point. We do want people to be prepared before they come. The weather can change quickly here. It can be hotter than places you're used to. It gets pretty hot and humid in the summertime. So there is our website to visit and get what we call Know Before You Go information, which is so you know what to bring, get a map at our website. There are also lots of good tourism websites for this region. Southernmost Illinois Tourism has good information for trip planning. So do some homework ahead of time. Call our office or check out our website would be a good idea. Other than that, the rules are posted at sites. If they just have questions, can they bring their dog? Where is a good short hike? Those are good questions to just call if you're just going to be down for a day. If you're going to spend longer amounts of time, that's when I would say, check out the website and really do your homework.
Now, is there camping around Shawnee National Forest? Because I tell you what, we're only getting, again, just that snapshot today for our episode, but you could easily spend several days here.
Yeah, actually we do. We have 7 campsites.
Okay.
They're mostly primitive. We have one site where you can hook up, have electric and sewer hookup and be for like a bigger camper. RV type campground. That's at Lake Glendale. All the rest are, we have Pounds Hollow. It has a few electric sites, but just a small loop. So we're the primitive experience. If you just want to get out and
not
tent
me and
camp.
my glamping.
No, right. And most of those are going to be, at least a half an hour or more from a town. So it's not like you can just jump in your car and go get McDonald's for breakfast either. So, but then there's a lot of opportunities that the private industry offers up. You know, ranches with cabins, and the wine trail has cabins along, you know, where you can rent and stay in cabins and that sort of a thing. So, and campgrounds too. So there's a variety, and that's when we suggest folks to check out the tourism website.
Sure thing. In cruising your social media a little bit, the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk about that at all? Just the fun of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the fascination of that guy, you know,
Yeah.
Bigfoot. And you've probably seen TV shows and whatnot. And I think they filmed that in North Carolina or out east. And I don't know, I guess it's just someone locally thought of the idea of putting a statue. He's not far from here. He's
Yeah.
on the way up. There's a big, you know, Sasquatch statue, and people stop and take a picture with Sasquatch and things like that. So I guess it's just the lure of Bigfoot. And
Yeah.
for a while there, I don't know, it's been about 5 or 7 years ago, we were seeing stuff on social media. They were thinking, you know, Sasquatch was out here in the forest. It's not. It's just for fun. And actually, the local community of Harrisburg, where our main office is actually holding a Sasquatch festival now. So I think it's just the fun of it, and you know, I don't know why he started it. Obviously, it's drawn attention, so that's
Right.
a good idea.
A little myth, a little fun, a little social media moment, if you
Right,
will.
yeah.
So we're taping this in October. So is that festival an annual thing?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
it's coming up here either this weekend or next. Yeah, it's coming up. It always
Wonderful.
happens in October, the Sasquatch Festival. So.
Well, let's circle back to Lake Glendale. So you were telling me that is there biking around that area? And that's where the newer trails are? Or
Right,
no?
that trail, there's a trail system that we actually partnered with and tied in with the state park, Dixon Springs State Park. They have trails, and so together we joined those two trail systems and designated them at the same time for mountain biking. So now we can apply funds to it to fix it up so it's, you know, more appropriate for bikes and more enjoyable. And we're actually partnering, another important partner for that is our Southern Illinois Mountain Bike Association.
Oh.
They were key in helping us get to the point where we could designate it, suggested routes and what some of the features that mountain bikers look for.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really excited about that. I was out there, we dedicated it like June of last year, 2021. And that fall, I was seeing bicyclists, and so it was used right away. And there's, if you want a short bike trail, like a short trip, you can just, I think there's places, private industry, where you can rent a bike nearby and take the easy, you know, loop around the lake, which is really scenic. You know, you don't have to venture very far out on the forest. So yeah, we're excited about that. It's just adjacent to Lake Glendale, which is our main campground. It's got 70 some campsites, and about half of those are electric. So if you want a more primitive, but you want a shower, you can stay at Lake Glendale at one of their tent sites. Yep, and use the shower house. So it's just a nice family sort of campground there. So it's part of that complex, and we've got picnic sites there and boat launches at Lake Glendale.
That was going to be one of my next questions. So boats are allowed on Lake Glendale.
Yep.
Fishing.
Yes.
And if I'm somebody who is looking to fish, do I need to get any sort of fishing license, boat tags, or anything like that?
Right. So all hunting and fishing on the forest follows state regulations, which
Okay.
is set by the Department of Natural Resources, the state of Illinois. So they should go to the IDNR website. You can get your permits there online. You can buy them now and print them off. And some of the local businesses have them too, like Walmart and that. But if you're worried about finding a place to get your fishing license, then, you know, I'd suggest go online and check it out ahead of time. But yeah, our regulations and rules for hunting and fishing follow state law.
Wonderful. So we've hit a wide expanse of opportunities that are out here. Is there anything that I haven't asked about that you might want to share about the grounds or anything? We don't want to leave anything out.
I think just that, you know, the Shawnee, it's just a great place to escape. You can find a variety from a developed experience to a very rustic, you know, out of the way. You want to go and sit at a lake like Cedar Lake and just enjoy it and read a book. You can do that, or you can rough it and backpack or do some horseback riding at one of the ranches and that sort of a thing. So there's just such a variety of things to do here. And you could come back every year and see a different location. That's the other great thing. So there's plenty to do and see, is all I would probably add.
And during your time here, have you found a favorite spot that you like to come to?
That's hard to ask. I have a couple favorites on each side of the forest. Yeah.
Do you mind hitting them? I mean,
Oh,
your
sure.
eyes lit up. So just for the folks that we're not familiar, we want to
Yeah.
know before we go.
Well, there are a lot of great places, and some of them are better at certain times of year than others. But yeah, I'd say Rimrock is one of my favorites. Of course, this site, but you're usually going to see people here. So if you want to get out, but Rimrock National Recreation Trail, Bellsmith Springs is very scenic and cool. A lot of neat rock formations there too. Very large, a natural stone bridge. If you're not sure what that is, it's all made out of, it's eroded sandstone. And then on the west side, I'd say LaRue Pine Hills, and Cedar Lake is just really pretty. Like if you like to kayak or paddleboard, that's the lake to be on. It's beautiful in the spring and summer. The water is clear and it's spring fed or whatever. And then in the fall colors against the bluffs, because there's sheer bluffs. It's really pretty. Cedar Lake.
For the kayaking and things, is there an opportunity to rent those, or do I need to make sure I bring my own?
Yeah, it's good if you could bring your own.
Okay.
There are a few places to rent. I believe SIU in Carbondale, Illinois, has a rec center that rents recreation equipment. There's also businesses in Carbondale where you could rent. And I think there's a couple others that are out around, more closer to the forest that are starting up those kind of businesses. We can't keep track of that at the Forest Service because
Right.
businesses come and go so often. So we always suggest to visit the tourism websites to get that information, or call tourism and let them know where you want to go, and they'll be able to help you find that equipment nearby.
Sure. Well, the World Wide Web, you can find almost anything
You
these
can.
days.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, we have talked a lot about spring, summer, and fall activities. Is there still some life, some things that happen at this forest during the winter?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, the winter is a great time to visit, because when you're on, say, down below the bluffs, like if you were to hike today, a lot of the beautiful expanses of the bluffs, towering above you are hidden because of the trees. So in the wintertime, you get the full expansive, of how massive the sandstone bluffs and the limestone bluffs can be in this area. And so it's really scenic in the wintertime. And then if you come when it's snowed or it's cold, huge icicles can form as the water drips out of the rocks. So that's really pretty. Each season has its own, attractions, I guess you could say, its own beauty. And in the wintertime, is a great time to see some, wildlife, the birds that then migrate, because it's warmer here than it is up north, and that sort of thing, bald eagles. And so it's just a quiet time of year. Yeah, you don't have the fall colors, or you don't have the spring wildflowers, but you do have the scenic beauty of the wintertime to check out that season, because it's different, and there'll be less visitors. And the other good thing, we actually have a lot of people that hike throughout the winter, because the ticks, the poison ivy is gone, and the ticks and the bugs aren't as pesty. It's not as hot and humid like if you were to try to hike long distances in the summertime here. So we get year-round use. And then, of course, hunting is a primary. I didn't even mention hunting yet. And that,
go for it.
Yeah, that season is, we have people from all over that come here, out of state, in state, that come here to hunt, mostly white-tailed deer.
White-tailed deer.
Yeah. So our bow season is right now. It started October 1st.
Okay.
And it goes to sometime in January, I believe. End of January.
Check out that DNR website,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Check out the website. And then, of course, if they wanted to shotgun hunt, those permits have already been let out. Sometimes you can buy them over the counter, but they'll have to just check the website out for those.
Well, wonderful. It sounds like all 4 seasons there's something to find at Shawnee, at Garden of the Gods. So thank you, Sue. You've been a wealth of knowledge. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will be at Rimrock, so don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. We have transitioned to Rimrock here at the Shawnee National Forest, and we've got a new guest with us. Welcome to our show, Steve.
Yes, thank
Can
you.
you please introduce yourself, your title, who you're affiliated with?
Steve Melville. I own Rimrock's Dogwood Cabins across the street, and I'm also with the Friends of the Shawnee and the Southernmost Tourism Board.
Fabulous. So for folks who aren't familiar, who are the Friends?
Friends, we're like the volunteer arm of the Shawnee National Forest. We do a lot of trash blast and trail maintenance and graffiti removal, invasive removal, stuff like that.
Well, it sounds like you are definitely being a friend here to the Shawnee area, and we are thankful that you are. So if someone is looking to get involved with the Friends, how would one do that?
ShawneeFriends.org is our website. We also have a Facebook page that we keep our events, upcoming events on, and we usually have registration for those so we know who's all showing up. But we try to have a lot of things for people to get involved with.
Wonderful. So if I'm someone who's maybe not from around here, is there a way I can still come and pitch in?
Oh,
On
absolutely.
an off day,
Absolutely. We'll take help from anyone. When there's all kinds of easy jobs or hard jobs. I mean, it's all different kinds of stuff.
If you've got hands, we'll use them.
That's right.
Perfect.
We got stuff to do.
So as you're talking that you're also part of the tourism board, so your kind of role is to draw people in.
Yeah, just show off the area, and it's mostly about just keep getting pictures and videos out there, because once people see it, they're just shocked that that's Illinois, that it's down here. I grew up in St. Louis and lived there for 40 years before I knew this was down here, so it's a hidden gem for sure. We're just trying to show it off.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good that I found it today for my first time at 28. So if you're trying to draw people in and give sort of the highlights, we've been walking through Rimrock to get back to this particular spot. Can you talk about some of the highlights of Rimrock Trail?
Rimrock's a pretty short trail. It's about 1.25 miles of trails and great bluffs, nice forests, lots of wildlife, and a lot of spring flowers and stuff. And wintertime, when the leaves are down, you can see a lot more of the rock formations. It's just a lot different feel than what you get at Garden of the Gods.
Definitely, which is, locale one of the episode. So also very near to where we're sitting is the Squeeze. Can you talk to us about the Squeeze? I mean, give us the deets.
It's just kind of a little stone hallways and fun place to explore around. And usually it goes up to the steps that lead out to the top, but they're currently closed. But that'll be fixed in the near future, and you can take the lower trail down to get here and enjoy it that way.
Now, this trail that we're on, is it just in and out, or is it all the way around? Is it loop?
Normally it would be a loop if the stairs were open,
Okay.
but otherwise it's an out and back, or there's an upper loop that you can see from the top up here. But with the steps out, you currently can't loop it that way. But
So as we were walking through, you were telling us about the history, the age of these structures that we're looking at. Can you recap it a little bit for the folks at home?
well, it was first settled, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and in the 50s, the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, did a lot of the work putting in the steps and the trails, and in the 90s, they did some more work with the YCCC, and that's pretty much who built all this, and now we're trying to help maintain it.
Definitely. Another site that we had passed through was the Ox Cave.
Ox
I butcher
Rock
that?
Cave.
Can you talk about that again? Just a
Yeah,
quick
that's
overview.
a place where they used to have a corral to keep the oxen. It was sheltered, and it had a spring in the back for the water, so they were cutting trees, and they used the oxen to pull the timber out of here back in the early 1900s, 1902 to 1906, I believe.
So if I'm somebody who has never been down here And as we've discussed, Shawnee is absolutely huge, 290,000 acres.
Correct.
You can't see it all in a day.
No.
It's just not impossible. Can you see it all in a week?
No, you can't see it all in a week. You can't even, between here and Garden of the Gods, you can't even see all of it in a week. There's just so many trails everywhere. You know, so many people that go to the Garden of the Gods don't even make it over to here, and the people that come here don't make it to Rimrock. And then there's, you know, just way more beyond that. But it's, you can plan a trip if you're big into hiking. You can hike for a long time and not at the same trails.
Well, if you said that you've been here for 5 years, in your 5 years, have you found your favorite spot tucked in Shawnee?
There's lots of them. I mean, it's hard to pick one, you know.
I put Sue on the spot too.
Yeah. I mean, Garden of the Gods is the, you know, it's the most picturesque place, you know, but when you're down here and as quiet as it is, I mean, there's no sounds of humans, you know, it's pretty magical, you know.
It's peaceful, it's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to add that I didn't quite ask about?
No, you know, just visit our website. You can sign up for a newsletter that goes out quarterly, and our events are on there, and we'd appreciate the help.
Wonderful. Well, Steve, thank you so much for coming on Take a Hike. We appreciate it.
Glad to show you.
And we are thankful to our viewers for joining us for this season of Take a Hike, and we hope to see you next year.
Take a Hike on WEIU is supported by Roll King, America's farm and home store, camping supplies, kayaks, fishing and pet supplies, and more. Find your store and more information regarding Roll King at rollking.com.